Top 1. Killing weeds with vinegar. Wiping out weeds at the root with just a simple ingredient from your kitchen cabinet is a secret that herbicide companies probably don't want you to know. This technique uses acetic acid to dehydrate and burn plant tissue within just a few hours when sprayed directly on the weed leaves. Experts also warn that when you use vinegar to kill weeds, you might kill your crops too. And because of that, we threw away a free method just because someone told us to buy a labeled replacement instead. The 2002 legalization of this science by the USDA-ARS proved that high concentrations of acetic acid effectively kill weeds for organic farms. Scientists at Beltsville also confirmed that the high acid concentration in vinegar can completely replace industrial herbicides. When doing this, you should keep in mind to mix it at a ratio of 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water, and be especially careful to only use it on concrete walkways to avoid damaging your soil. The golden time to apply it is on hot, sunny days when the sunlight helps the dehydration process happen the fastest. And that's how our ancestors kept their paths clean without negatively affecting the plants or the surrounding water source. Top 2. Seed saving. This isn't just a simple hobby, it's how gardening has worked sustainably for centuries. Your grandmother used to let 1 or 2 pole bean plants go to seed at the end of summer, dry the pods on the kitchen windowsill, and store the seeds in old envelopes labeled with a pencil. Come next spring, she had free beans from plants that had adapted exactly to the local soil and climate. However, modern seed companies have changed the rules of the game by selling F1 hybrid seeds. These types of seeds won't grow true to form the following year, forcing you to buy new seeds every spring. This isn't an accident, but a carefully calculated business model. Today, the Heritage Seed Library is fighting to keep old, open-pollinated varieties alive because those are the kinds you can save seeds from yourself. Most gardeners today don't know the difference between old seeds and F1, which leads them to keep repeating the cycle of buying and throwing away. Saving seeds not only saves about $5 per packet, but is also a way to preserve a precious biological heritage. Top 3. Cinnamon and honey. When taking cuttings on gentle, sunny afternoons, Grandma used to meticulously cut rose stems or jasmine branches to propagate them using 2 sweet ingredients from the kitchen cabinet. Honey and cinnamon powder are the secrets that help the survival rate of young plants skyrocket. The core technique is to dip the end of the cutting into this mixture before sticking it into the nursery soil. Honey plays the role of providing a rich energy source from natural sugars and enzymes that stimulate root growth. Meanwhile, cinnamon powder is a powerful natural antibiotic that helps kill fungal diseases and protects the cut from rotting. Many people used to think that honey would attract ants to damage the young branches, but in reality, this is a humane alternative to harmful chemical rooting hormones. Modern science is also gradually recognizing the superior antibacterial ability of cinnamon in organic agriculture. You'll get healthy potted plants without having to spend money on expensive industrial products. Top 4. Deep root watering from a manual system. Many gardeners often think that they should only use overhead watering on the surface to avoid waterlogging and rotting the soil. But in reality, this watering method causes water to stay only in the upper layer, where it evaporates easily and unintentionally keeps moisture constantly around the base, creating conditions for fungal diseases while making the plant roots grow shallow and weak. Even the harshest droughts couldn't wither Grandpa's garden thanks to a secret using this deep watering system. He would bury a plastic pot or a bottle with holes poked in it right next to the plant base. The water source would be led straight to the deep root zone, forcing the root system to grow long and downward to search for life instead of just clinging shallowly to the ground. This method saves up to 70% of daily irrigation water and prevents fungal diseases from developing on the foliage. The industry often encourages complex surface irrigation systems, but leading water into the ground is the real way to create a sturdy root system that defies all weather. When doing this, you need to ensure the holes on the pipe or bottle are facing the plant and are on the same side as the roots, so the water hits the target. Thanks to this, the plants not only survive the dry season, but also thrive because of the resilience of a root system trained deep within the earth. Top 5. Charcoal in pots. Biochar. The technique of lining the bottom of a pot with charcoal originated from the ancient Amazon, with a fertile black soil called terra preta. Native people mixed charcoal and organic waste into the soil to hold nutrients for centuries without being washed away by tropical rains. The tiny porous structure of charcoal is an ideal home for millions of beneficial microorganisms, helping the root system stay disease-free and well ventilated. Charcoal also has the ability to effectively prevent root rot thanks to its natural moisture-absorbing and disinfecting properties. Instead of using heavy gravel or stones that cause waterlogging, using charcoal significantly reduces the weight of large plant pots. Today, agricultural corporations have repackaged this product under the name biochar at an expensive price, while our grandparents simply took charcoal from a clean wood stove. One extremely important warning is that you absolutely must not use charcoal from a barbecue grill because it contains fire-starting chemicals and salt that will kill the plant instantly. The charcoal must be made from clean, chemical-free wood to ensure safety for the garden. Top 6. Multi-sowing technique. Gardeners today are usually used to sowing one seed per cell according to the instructions on the package, a standardized way to avoid nutrient competition. But in reality, many longtime gardeners have observed that plants in nature don't grow individually like that, and the multi-sowing method has been applied since before there were any instructions. This technique allows you to sow a group of 3 to 5 seeds into the same cell of a modular tray. As the plants grow, instead of fighting for nutrients, their roots grow together and naturally push the stems apart. This helps you grow more plants in less space, which is especially effective for root vegetables like beets, white radishes, or onions. This method challenges the wide spacing mindset of industrial agriculture, which aims to sell more potting soil and nursery trays. It saves a significant amount of sowing time and greenhouse space. However, you shouldn't apply this technique to plants with large fruit like pumpkins, tomatoes, or eggplants, because the competition will stunt them. Even though the plants push each other apart, you still need to ensure the distance between clusters follows recommendations so the plants don't lack light. Top 7 Forestieri Underground Gardens. In the middle of the scorching heat of Fresno, California, there is a unique heritage site built by Baldassare Forestieri from 1906 to 1946. This Italian immigrant spent 40 years of his life digging deep into the earth, creating sunken courtyards with skylights to grow fruit trees. He discovered that growing trees underground protected them from the summer heat and harsh winter frosts. This is a perfect testament to off-grid gardening, utilizing the structure of the underground to create a self-sustaining ecosystem. However, in this day and age, implementing a similar idea would run into extremely complex legal hurdles and zoning regulations. You would need a team of architects, geological engineers, and lawyers to get through the building procedures. Even local water management agencies have the right to heavily fine you if your project affects the groundwater flow in the area. Forestier underground gardens remind us of an era when individual creativity and persistence could create miracles without being boxed in by rigid standards. Top 8. Subterranean clay pot irrigation, olla. The name olla comes from the Spanish word for pot, a watering technique that has existed for over 4,000 years across many civilizations. Our grandparents used to use unglazed terracotta pots buried deep in the ground to water gradually through the walls of the pot. This technique automatically regulates moisture through a process of reverse osmosis. When the soil is dry, it pulls water through the tiny pores in the ceramic walls. And when the soil is moist enough, this process automatically stops. It's a perfect self-adjusting system without the need for any electronic sensors or complex machinery of the new age. Studies at the University of New Mexico have confirmed this method reduces water consumption by 50 to 70% compared to surface watering. This can significantly cut down your water bill while still keeping plants lush in the driest conditions. One important note is that you must use completely unglazed terracotta. If the pot has a shiny glaze on the outside, it will lose this magical osmosis ability. Reapplying the Olapot is not just an act of nostalgia, but also a top-tier, low-tech solution for modern off-grid gardens where thrift and efficiency are always a priority. Top 9. The board germination trick. There is a very simple trick that old-time gardeners used to use, later recorded by Bill Mollison as a small but extremely effective principle. After sowing seeds and watering, they didn't leave the soil bare. but gently placed a board or piece of cardboard on top. It might sound strange as it limits oxygen for the newly sown seeds, but that simple cover makes a big difference. It keeps the soil underneath moist by preventing water from evaporating, creating a stable environment for seeds to sprout. Especially helpful on hot days when soil dries out very fast. Because of this, you don't need to water constantly multiple times a day. At the same time, the board also protects the seeds from birds, chickens, or insects during their weakest stage. This method was once said to be discouraged because it could attract lots of slugs under the board, as they also use this way to trap slugs. However, you just need to keep in mind to check regularly and remove the board as soon as you see the first green sprouts starting to appear under the soil. This technique helps seeds get through their most difficult stage safely, without the need for large-scale or expensive cover systems, becoming a precious survival tip during the driest days. Top 10. Aspirin for immunity. In the family medicine cabinet of the past, aspirin wasn't just for human headaches, but was also a booster shot for plants. This technique fed an entire generation, even though if done by today's laws, people would call it a non-standard way. Aspirin contains salicylic acid, a hormone that plants naturally secrete when attacked to activate their natural defense system. Just dissolve one aspirin tablet in water and spray it evenly on the foliage, and you're helping the plant build a foundation with strong immunity from within. In the 1950s and 1960s, types of aspirin were once warned as harmful to limit popular use, a move that helped chemical pesticides take over the market. However, the USDA has conducted studies confirming that spraying salicylic acid-like compounds can activate the plant's defense mechanisms against fungi and bacteria. Real results show that plants grow 20% faster, stronger, and very rarely get diseased even when the environment changes. Despite the amazing effectiveness, you shouldn't consider this a miracle cure to replace basic care like good soil and regular watering. Prioritize growth from within. Top 11. Aloe vera for rooting. Aloe vera isn't just a beauty herb, but is also a shield protecting the life of a sprout right from the start. Aloe vera gel contains natural plant hormones, substances that stimulate extremely fast root cell division. When taking cuttings instead of overusing industrial chemical growth agents, our grandparents used to dip the end of the branch directly into a fresh aloe vera leaf. A small branch of aloe vera can completely replace a whole bottle of industrial rooting hormone at zero cost. Not only does it stimulate roots, but aloe vera also helps strengthen the immune system for the young plant, protecting it from infections, diseases, and mold during the initial sprouting stage. The result is that the germination and rooting rates of the plant skyrocket amazingly. However, just like with honey, aloe vera gel is an organic substance rich in sugar and nutrients. If you apply too much and leave it exposed on the ground, it will become a feast for ants, slugs, and parasitic fungi. Therefore, you need to keep in mind to use it very carefully to avoid having a reverse effect on your garden. Top 12. Gardening by the rain. What belongs to nature needs to listen to nature. That was the gardening philosophy of our grandparents back when they didn't have a power grid to guess the weather forecast or scientific advice. You might have been advised to sow seeds on mild sunny days or when humidity is high so the seeds have all the conditions to sprout. Contrary to that view, our grandparents often sowed seeds on rainy days, even during heavy rainstorms. Natural rainwater with an ideal pH and a bit of nitrogen from lightning is the most optimal nutrient source for a young plant start. Doing this helps you save a large amount of watering time and doesn't drain the water reserves in your tanks. However, you also need to keep in mind to follow the weather forecast closely because very heavy rains can wash away the seeds if the soil isn't stable enough. This method might not be suitable for every climate, but in regions with a stable rainy season, this is the most effective way to establish a new sustainable garden. Patiently waiting for the golden time from the sky is the secret that helped the previous generation's gardens always stay green without the need for complex automatic irrigation systems. Top 13. Recycling nutrients from urine. Something that was once seen as waste and forbidden in modern hygiene standards is actually the source of liquid gold that helps crop yields double. Farmers of old understood the value of fresh urine very well, as it contains an amount of nitrogen nearly equivalent to many expensive commercial fertilizers, along with phosphorus and potassium in a form plants can absorb immediately. In the past, this technique was discarded due to concerns about urban sanitation, but modern science has proven that if used correctly, this is an extremely safe and effective recycled nutrient source. It turns something seemingly discarded into a free source of fertilizer, helping to reduce dependence on chemical corporations. To apply it safely, you need to dilute urine with water at a 1:10 ratio and water directly at the plant base instead of on the leaves. The best time is early morning or late afternoon to limit nitrogen evaporation and minimize odors. This is a perfect nutrient cycle in off-grid systems where every resource is maximized to nourish life. Top 14. Wartime Pig Club. During the harsh years of war, community solidarity was shown through pig clubs. Neighbors would work together to raise a pig right in their backyard using kitchen waste and vegetable scraps. By 1943, there were nearly 7,000 such clubs registered in England, creating one of the most effective food production systems ever seen in suburban areas. The pig acted like a biological recycling machine. It ate things that would have been thrown away and provided nutrient-rich fertilizer for community gardens. However, today doing this is extremely difficult due to strict environmental health regulations and livestock permits. We have replaced this circular system with trash cans and landfills, breaking the link between animal husbandry and cultivation. Although this is a tip that could get you into legal trouble today, the principle of turning waste into protein and fertilizer remains an invaluable lesson in self-sufficiency. Top 15. Epsom salt for tomatoes. In our grandparents' gardens for many decades, Epsom salt has always been a quiet savior for tomato plants. When they saw the plant leaves turning yellow between the veins, our grandparents would immediately grab a bag of Epsom salt from the bathroom medicine cabinet to fix the problem. In terms of chemical nature, Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, which helps resolve magnesium deficiency, an extremely common problem that causes plants to set fruit poorly and leaves to turn pale. Tomatoes are heavy feeders. They pull magnesium from the soil faster than most other vegetables, so timely supplementation is incredibly important. The gardening industry often advertises specialized tomato foods at high prices, while a kilogram of Epsom salt is many times cheaper and brings equivalent results. No one wants to tell you that a bathing product can definitively treat the medical symptoms of a tomato plant. The formula is very simple. Dissolve 1 TBSP of Epsom salt in about 1.2 gallons, 4.5 L, of water and water the plant once every 2 weeks. This method costs you only a few cents, but brings clusters of plump fruit and lush green foliage, proving that the most effective solutions are sometimes right in the family medicine cabinet. Top 16. Turmeric powder for root protection. The familiar bright yellow spice in the kitchen is one of the most powerful natural antibiotics to protect the root system of plants. The active ingredient curcumin in turmeric powder possesses extremely strong antibacterial and antifungal abilities, helping to magically heal wounds on plant stems after pruning. Grandma used to teach that, instead of using toxic chemicals, use turmeric powder to block all risks of fungal diseases from the soil. This is an incredibly humane and gentle way to protect crops, helping to maintain a healthy soil ecosystem without killing beneficial microorganisms. You just need to sprinkle a little turmeric powder around the plant base to ward off ants, which are the protectors for aphids that damage plants. Additionally, mixing turmeric powder directly into the potting soil will safely kill the fungi that cause root rot at the source. While pesticide companies want you to be dependent on bottles of chemical medicine, turmeric powder provides a self-sufficient and sustainable solution. Using turmeric in the garden not only protects the plants, but also keeps the food you eat clean and safe for your health, continuing the ancestors' tradition of using natural medicinal herbs in agriculture. Top 17. Liquid fertilizer from comfrey. Comfrey was the secret weapon that helped Grandpa's garden always be heavy with fruit. This plant has a root system that goes deep into the earth, pulling up precious minerals that other plants can't reach. When comfrey leaves are soaked in water, they break down into a thick black liquid with a distinct smell. Although the smell isn't very pleasant, this is the best free potassium-rich fertilizer for tomatoes, peppers, and pumpkins. Potassium helps the fruit grow larger, firmer, and have a bolder flavor. This method hardly appears in modern gardening advice because no one can sell you a plant that creates free fertilizer forever. However, the Royal Horticultural Society has recognized this as one of the most effective natural fertilizers today. How to use it is very simple. You just need to dilute that black concentrate with clean water at a 1:20 ratio to water the plants. Planting a comfrey bush in a corner of the garden is your way of building an on-site organic fertilizer factory, helping the garden stay fertile without spending a penny on industrial products. Top 18. Mulching with old newspapers. In the famous Dig for Victory campaign, mulching soil with old newspapers was recommended as an effective and inexpensive solution to protect crops. Your grandmother used to spread wet newspapers between rows of vegetables as a perfectly normal thing. Newsprint has the ability to completely block weeds by blocking sunlight, while also holding soil moisture very well during dry spells. At the end of the season, this layer of newspaper will decompose naturally and add precious organic matter to the soil. However, by the 1980s, garden centers began selling landscape fabric and plastic mulch, things that never decompose and sit forever in landfills. We were convinced to replace something free and biological with something worse that we also have to pay for. To do it correctly, spread newspapers about 4 to 5 sheets thick, water them thoroughly, and cover them with a thin layer of grass clipping so the newspaper doesn't blow away in the wind. This is a smart way to recycle resources, helping to nourish the soil in the most natural way without harming the environment like modern plastic mulches. Top 19. Making fertilizer from soaked weeds. Grandma used to say that no plant is a weed, it's just that we don't know how to use their value yet. Instead of throwing away the weeds she just pulled, Grandma often soaked them in large water barrels to create a very nutritious weed tea. During the soaking process, the nutrients accumulated in the weeds will completely dissolve into the water, forming a dark, nitrogen-rich liquid fertilizer. In the 1990s, some local councils even asked people to stop doing this because of complaints about the smell and intervention that lost people's habit of saving resources. However, researchers at Coventry University in 2019 proved that fertilizer from soaked nettles provides nitrogen levels equivalent to many commercial brands in the market. This confirms the wisdom of the previous generation in turning trash into a precious resource. You just need to dilute 1 part weed tea with 10 parts clean water to water green leafy vegetables. This technique not only helps plants grow strongly, but also helps you be completely self-sufficient with your fertilizer source, following the true spirit of a self-sustaining off-grid garden. Top 20 egg cartons as seed starter trays. Those paper egg cartons, after being used, were often kept by Grandma to be turned into perfect biological seed starter trays. Grandma filled each small cell with compost and sowed a seed in it. The biggest benefit of this technique is that when the young plant is ready to go into the garden, you just need to tear off each individual egg carton cell and plant the whole block directly into the ground. The cardboard layer will decompose completely within a few weeks, providing extra fiber for the soil. More importantly, this way helps the delicate young root system avoid the extremely dangerous root shock that often happens when we try to take the plant out of plastic trays. Plastic trays from garden centers often crack and break after just a few seasons and cause waste, while Grandma's egg cartons are completely free and environmentally friendly. It's a plastic-free, zero waste, and extremely effective solution. Using egg cartons to start plants not only shows a spirit of thriftiness, but is also the most delicate way to care for young plants, ensuring a solid start for the next generation of plants in your garden. Top 21. Coffee grounds for soil improvement. Every gram of coffee grounds that would have been thrown away every day can become black gold for your garden. Our grandparents used to collect coffee grounds from small local shops to sprinkle around the plant base. Coffee grounds help lower the soil pH gradually, which is extremely suitable for acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, or roses. Additionally, the caffeine content and the coarse texture of coffee grounds also have the effect of effectively stopping slugs from damaging plants. The gardening industry always wants to sell you expensive bags of fertilizer instead of just showing you that the answer is right in the trash can. Research at the University of Melbourne has confirmed that coffee grounds significantly improve soil structure and water-holding capacity when composted correctly. Fertilizing around cruciferous plants with coffee grounds will create a natural protective barrier against pests. Using coffee grounds is not only a way to improve soil sustainably, but is also an act of recycling urban waste into nutrients for the soil. Connecting life from your morning cups of coffee to the green sprouts in your backyard. Top 22. The no-dig method. Even though many gardening experts are considered the ones who popularized the no-dig method in the new age, in reality, your grandmother was doing it decades ago. She never turned the soil with a shovel or a tiller because she understood that doing so would destroy the network of fungi in the beneficial earthworm tunnels. Instead, she simply spread a layer of compost over the soil surface and let the earthworms do the work of pulling the nutrients deep down. The industry continues to advertise tillers and shovels as essential tools based on the false assumption that soil needs to be turned over every season. However, modern science has confirmed that disturbing the soil exposes carbon to the air, causing pollution and harming the microbial ecosystem. No-dig gardening helps maintain the natural soil structure, holds moisture better, and creates equivalent or higher yields with only a small fraction of the labor effort. The earthworms will thank you for not destroying their home, and in return, they will create the loosest, most fertile soil for your plants. This is the peak of cooperation between humans and nature in maintaining enduring life for the land. Top 23 Pine Needles for Weed Control. In the vast pine forests, our grandparents often collected the fallen dry needle layer to bring home and spread around the plant bases in the garden. This layer of pine needles acts like a solid physical barrier, completely stopping sunlight from reaching the weed seeds hiding under the soil. Without sunlight, weeds can't sprout, saving you hours of bending over to pull weeds by hand. This is a wonderful alternative to the toxic, weed-killing chemicals that the industry always promotes. Besides the ability to kill weeds, pine needles also help maintain stable moisture for the soil, and when they decompose, they add a significant amount of organic matter. With its characteristic mild acidity, pine needles are a perfect choice for acid-loving plants like strawberries or roses. Using pine needles is your way of utilizing available resources from nature to solve one of the most headache-inducing problems for gardeners. It's a wise combination of ecological observation and agricultural practice to create a clean and nutrient-rich growing environment for crops. Top 24 Using slanted side cups to start seeds. Taking young plants out of seed cups with vertical walls is often a risky task because a small mistake can break the delicate young roots. The wisdom of the old-timers lay in the subtle choice of cups with slanted sides like a truncated cone. This special design allows the entire root ball to slide out easily and intact when we flip the cup over and gently squeeze the sides. It helps clear up the myth that you just need to use a spoon to pry hard to move a plant safely. When the root ball is kept intact, the young plant won't lose energy to heal wounds, helping it quickly catch up with the new environment and continue to grow strong and tall. The entire block of soil surrounding the root stays in shape without being disturbed or broken. This is an example of using simple geometry to optimize the care of life. Choosing the right item from the start will decide the success or failure of the crop when it goes into the garden, proving that subtlety in every smallest detail is the secret of master gardeners. Top 25 Effective Weeding Strategy. Weeding in the garden is often considered a tiring job, but our grandparents turned it into a much more scientific and effective process. The core strategy is to try to weed during the hot midday sun. After pulling them, don't be in a hurry to throw the weeds away. Instead, leave them right on the surface of the raised beds or on the ground so the sunlight can wither them. Under the heat of the sun, the weed roots will be completely killed, preventing the possibility of them sprouting back. Then these dried up weeds will decompose right on the spot, saving you a trip to the compost bin and returning nutrients directly to the soil. This is a complete alternative to overusing harmful chemical herbicides. By arranging a flexible weeding session once a week during the hottest times, you'll always have control over the garden situation without spending too much effort. This strategy teaches us how to utilize the power of the sun not only to nourish, but also to protect and clean the garden in the most natural and smart way. Top 26 Wood chip paths into fertilizer. Using wood chips to make paths in the garden not only keeps your feet clean, but is also a long-term nutrient storage strategy. Grandparents often asked for wood chips from local tree trimmers, a resource usually seen as waste and given away for free. After a year or two of lining the path under the influence of weather and being stepped on, the wood chips will decompose into an incredibly rich mulch. At this point, you just need to shovel up that decomposed wood chip layer and use it to mulch your pots or garden beds as a high-quality organic fertilizer. Then you add a new layer of wood chips to the path to continue the cycle. This is a prime example of multifunctional gardening, where a material serves an aesthetic purpose, acts as a path, and is also a reserve fertilizer source. It saves you a large amount of money that would otherwise be spent on pre-bagged fertilizers. Turning paths into an organic mulch factory is the smartest way to garden, ensuring the garden is always nourished from the resources already available around you. These techniques aren't just about gardening. They are the heritage of resilience and deep understanding of nature that the previous generation left behind. From Woolworths to community gardens, these values were once the foundation of American life, helping people be self-sufficient and connected to the land. If these ancient secrets have changed the way you look at the soil beneath your feet, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are digging up the history that they tried to bury. Let's cultivate a self-reliant future together. The next treasure of wisdom will be revealed very soon.